following program on Ada Derana 24 is classified for general audience. It is intended for all ages. It contains little or no violence, no strong language, and little or no sexual dialogue or situations.
Hello and welcome to Business Best, the platform wherein our viewers and our wonderful entrepreneurs and people who think somewhat outside the box are able to connect together, show off their business ideas and sort of inspire all of you watching as well. Now today we have one such individual who have actually turned out to join in an industry which is not very profound in Sri Lanka, an industry which not a lot of people know about. But of course on today's platform, on this episode of Business Best, we are able to explore what this particular industry is, the business that he is from, and exactly how he operates his business in such a volatile market. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Managing Director of RKR Industries, Mr. Ryan Mural. Thank you so much for joining in today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So as I mentioned earlier, the industry that RKR Industry is working in is a peculiar industry, I would say, the webbing industry. And as you mentioned, it was a webbing manufacturing partner. But before we go into the depths of your business, I want to first know about you. Who is Ryan Mural?
Well, I'm 24 years old and I'm currently in my final stage of the MBA program in supply chain and logistics. Back in 2018, my father started this company, RKR Industries. So I've been on the borderline since then, supporting my father from the side. But my father, he's a very enthusiastic person. So right now, I'm actually supporting him more than before because this industry, we are a small-scale, labor-intensive industry. Apart from the high-scale industries, the majors in the market. So we have to keep on pushing forward. And I just want to give my fullest support to my father currently. So in the couple of next month, I'll be fully joining with him.
So it's a very young entrepreneur coming into the industry with the support of his father. So now let's go on to what RKR Industries is, a webbing partner. Now, not a lot of people know exactly what a webbing partner is. The name itself sounds very unfamiliar when it comes to Sri Lankan market. So why don't you tell us what exactly is a webbing partner?
The best example I can give you is the car seat belt or a bag strap. So this is actually a strap, but this has various applications. The applications change according to the material we use. So we import yarn or thread from China and other countries. We put them through a series of weaving processes, and we get various types of products. Like we get cord, we get elastic webbing, all sorts of things. So it varies, and the applications depend on the situations. I mean, like for parachutes, we use different types of webbing. So for, let's say, bag strap, we use a different type of low quality webbing. So something like that. So the basic example is a strap.
It's a strap of kind that you can use for cars, and you said parachutes, yes, bags, and there are so many reasons.
Yes,
but
there are so
like
many
I mentioned earlier, the whole point of webbing or a product such as webbing is not known of. So what inspired you and your family, since it's from your dad to you, what inspired all of you to start such a business?
Well, before my father started this company back in 2018, he worked in a German company called Aquadynamics. So Aquadynamics, they are quite professionals in their field. They produce the final products such as parachutes, windsurfing kites, or life-saving jackets. So they are export quality grade. So when my father used to work there, he gained all sort of so many stuff, so many knowledge, so many experiences. He later on, after his retirement, he thought he wants to be an entrepreneur. So with me still engaged in my studies, he talked with me personally. So we both agreed, and let's do this. So we wanted to become entrepreneurs, and today Aquadynamics is one of our primary and valued customers. So we are one of their suppliers. So we produce webbing straps and we supply to them.
All right. So if you don't mind me asking, since you joined in on the business with your dad itself, and you said initially when the business started in 2018, you were still going par with your studies. What stream did you educate yourself in?
Well, when my father started this business, I was actually doing my A-levels, so I was in the commerce stream. Later on, I started my studies in the field of logistics.
Right.
So I'm also employed in a logistics freight forwarding company currently. That supported me, like it provided me the background to help my father with his work. So logistics is, as you know, is a very vivid. It has a very vivid environment with different types of people, different types of stress. So all these experiences, all these situations helped me to get here.
I think all of that stress and all the
Yes.
work that you had to put into in the
Yes.
company that you previously worked for or currently working for would have molded you to take up the challenges when it comes
Yes.
to your own business. Now, speaking of these challenges, of course, starting up a company of webbing, like I mentioned previously also, it's a very peculiar industry. Not a lot of people know it. So it would mean that you need to start a business, have the respective marketing, get people attracted into it, since it's a labor-intensive company as well, to gain the required workforce. How were the challenges when it came to starting up the company?
Well, as any business would have, the first step we had to take was like creating the operational background. So we had to import in machinery, we had to recruit employees, we had to get orders, definitely, because we cannot move forward without orders. So back in 2018, we just started with 2 machines, 1 employee. That's how we started. So we were also working because we had no other options, because we were very small industry, just opposite to our home. So like the challenges were like lack of employment opportunities in the market for these type of labor intensive industries. But we managed to get a few employees, train them, we educated them on how we value our customer service and how we value our employees as well. Because this is a labor intensive industry and we need our employees to build a better product. Otherwise, we will tarnish our own image.
Definitely.
So, and apart from that, another serious challenge was facing with shipping charges. So, as you know, importing is not such as easy as it was back in the day, because due to the issues with the sea imports, they increased their freight charges. So, we had to face them.
I think your experience from logistics would have played a massive part
Yeah,
when it comes to
yeah.
the importing of things. Now, you mentioned that you had to train a lot of people, specifically because it was a labor-intensive market. Now, when it came to your approach in sort of convincing people to be like, or even not just your workforce, maybe investors and every other stakeholder to say that, look, we're starting up a business of this sort. This is our future plan. And it might be an industry that is not familiar when it comes to Sri Lanka, but this is what our product is. How did you approach those sort of challenges? How did you manage to put the name RKR Industries into the market?
Well, this also has to do something with aquadynamics. So once again, I mentioned aquadynamics are prestigious customer. So in aquadynamics, my father had many contacts. So like when he retired, he came out with the contacts. So with these contacts, he wanted to reach out more to customers that he already knows. So we first reached out to them. So through them, we expanded our market. We used digital marketing later on though, but at the early stages, we used like word of mouth. We visited many companies, we talked with many people, we experimented on products, said that we can do this, we can do that. We never said no. So we accepted all the challenges, we met new people, we went on forward through like that.
Because the way I feel like when it comes to a new business, it's quite important to get your standing, your footing in the industry. And I think with the support of your clientele that is renowned for their products, I think you would have definitely garnered that as well. There's much more to talk about RKR Industries. We are currently in conversation with the Managing Director, Mr. Ryan. But we do have a couple of more things that we need to talk about. We'll be doing that right after this short commercial break. This is Business Best. Welcome back. You are with Business Best. We're currently in conversation with the Managing Director of RKR Industries, Mr. Ryan Mural. So as we were talking before, we were speaking on the challenges that RKR Industries had from its inception, how the company went about with their marketing strategy, and how exactly you all entered the market. Now, since this company was incorporated in 2018, that would mean that it would have gone through three major setbacks that a lot of Sri Lankan companies would have gone through. Number one being the Easter attacks that we had in 2019, followed closely by the COVID-19 disease and the issues that we had there, and of course, most recently, the economic turmoil that the country faced. As a new and up-and-coming business, how did RKR Industries, including your workforce, your administration and leadership, face these three varying difficulties that you would have gone through?
So, as I mentioned, RKR is a family business. So, in name wise, it's Roach, Kanti, Ryan. So, that's the breakdown of RKR. So, no matter what the situation is, we three are always present as this is a family business. So, no matter what, even if the employees are absent, even if it is a natural occurrence of any economic crisis, we three are ready to work in the
Just
factory.
to pause you a bit on it, so RKR, I know that your dad is part of it,
Yeah.
your Ryan, you're part of it, and the K is for?
Kanti, that's
Kanti,
my
your
mother.
mom. All right, okay, go on.
So, during those crises, like we faced many issues, like the employees, they were really scared to come to work, they had issues of their own, and more like the other major issue was like we were also situated near many churches. So what we did was we actually closed the factory, but we three, we took the upper hand and we worked. So we worked through and through until like we could manage the production. So that's how we got through those times. But during COVID and such, we had to actually close the factory down because we didn't want to take any risk.
Plus it was labor intensive as
Yeah,
well.
it was labor intensive, and since we were like stocking up products, we had to clean them thoroughly. So we took safety measures like those. So we somehow managed to come through those issues working together.
For the recent impact, now since you are a company that had to bring down a lot of material also, so there's a lot of imports going in and then the production of things, and I think when it comes to the logistical impacts of it, bringing down the materials that you require to make these webbing, the belts and such would have also been part of materials that were already restricted. How about did you deal with that situation?
When it comes to imports, like we had to deal with customs a lot. So we like really considered how we would import materials or if we would overstock these raw materials. So the raw materials we basically import is yarn. Yarn means simply it's thread.
Yes.
It would comprise with nylon, polyester, polypropylene as such. So here we advised our customers that it's better if they gave us a forecast of the products they will need in the future. So they would give us a forecast of the color of the item or anything that they require beforehand so that we can plan out our production process. So we planned our production process and we imported only the necessary, what we needed, so it would be easier for us.
It was within the bandwidth and
Yes.
did not bring you any
And it
questions.
was within our budget. So
Right. So that is how you survived as
Yes.
a new and coming business through a very turmoil time period. Now, another question that a lot of young entrepreneurs or anyone who would like to start up their own business is when entering a market, they would always have the doubt, okay, we are just entering the market. There are already key, well-established players within the market who have been operating for a couple of years. Businesses who already have a good customer base, suppliers trust them, consumers trust them, and they have their brand name for it. RKR is currently, for now, a small-scale business operating in quite a large market. How do you compete with your large-scale competitors?
yes, here, like even though we are a small labor-intensive small industry, we place like a lot of concentration on the product and as well as our employees. So we consider that the personal lives of our employees. We provide them with various incentives like various cost of living allowances, loyalty allowances, such as, and also with that we expect them to provide us with the best products. So personally, we also check the products. So you can get the idea that we check at least 1,000,000 times before we send out the products to the customers. With that, the customers they really like the quality of the products we provide them with, because we take good care of our employees. So in turn, they give us the best service they can.
The way I see it, Ryan, I think RKR Industries is a good example of people really taking triple bottom line into play. Because like you mentioned, you take care of your people. You really think about them. You ensure that they are well taken care of, incentivized, specifically because your company is a labor-intensive company. In the other sense, when it comes to your product, you ensure that the utmost quality is taken care of when it comes to your end user. The reason why I say that RKR Industries is a good example of a company that takes care of triple bottom line is because RKR Industry also thinks about the environment. Because when I did my research on the company, I saw a lot of things that as a webbing partner, the contributions that you have done to the environment. Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yes, this all comes back to the importing process. So these yarn are specifically a byproduct of a recycling process. So in that sense also, these yarn are not harmful for the environment. But when it comes to our factory, we separate the yarn, in the sense if a customer orders us a certain quantity and we produce extra, or a certain quantity gets damaged, or these incidents happen in a labor intensive factory, so mistakes happen, we are all humans. So in such a case, we would separate the yarn. We would actually use them for other products as well. Instead of straight away disposing them or burning them, we don't do such things, because it's not good for the environment, and also we don't do such things. We just use them again, we recycle them, and we use them for different products. For a basic example is pet accessories. So like a dog belt or a harness, anything. These webbing, they are universal. You can use them for anything. So we don't straight away destroy them or dispose of them. We use them again and again. So that's how the process goes.
So any consumer who purchases from RKR Industries could be assured that even if the yarn produces some sort of a byproduct, now the yarn itself is a byproduct, but if from there, if there's any sort of wastage or damaged products, RKR Industries ensures that it has been recycled as well.
Yes.
Another question I wanted to ask you, Ryan, now you mentioned early on that you are just 24. A person who completed his studies, currently going through his MBA program. Now, as a very young entrepreneur, there definitely must be challenges that you are facing as well. Going through and balancing your MBA, your current work, your employment place, and then also another family business, it's not an easy task. For anybody who is watching in, who wants to be an entrepreneur like yourself, who is also thinking, okay, would I be able to manage being an entrepreneur, being a student, and of course trying to be a visionary leader, how would you say would be the best path for someone to follow, an advice of sorts?
Right, apart from me, I get my full support from my father. But if someone is trying to start something new, my first advice is start it now, because we need to take a risk. We need to look at an empty page before writing something. So we just need to push forward. We just need to start something. It may be small, people may not know about it, or there's not much market to it, but we can create our own market. If we have the energy, if we have the mindset, the proper mindset, we can do anything. So my first advice is to start anything, but with a clear mission, a vision, and a plan, a proper plan. So my advice is to start anything. It doesn't matter, start anything.
What matters is that you start, you have a proper plan, and you follow through it. And Ryan, I just wanted to tap into one of your personal experience now. You said you need to start it, you need to plan it, you need to work through it. But doing so by yourself, there would have been a couple of challenges. If you can give us one example of how you dealt with such an example.
The first challenge I faced with is the digital marketing. So nowadays, with the technology rising, there's many people using AI and all these sorts. So something like a webbing, we cannot just show video, picture, this is this, this is that, and this is what you produce, so buy this, buy that. It's not all about that. So we have to be creative in our perspective. It's a bit difficult at the first stage because many people, as I said, don't know what webbing is, and unless and until we show a product, but yet people don't know about the product, so it's a bit difficult on that perspective. But we try our best. So we have a couple of plans in store in the future, so that creating a website, developing social media status, also collaborating. There are many other services like who use webbing products, but they advertise another product. But we want to do collaborations and of that sort in the future. That's my current plan. That's one challenge, and the second challenge is my experience in this field. So definitely I need more contacts. So my primary contact is my own father. So with him I plan to move on forward. So, but I use the experience that I already gained from working in the logistics field. So there are many other challenges as well, economic crisis and all, with the shipping cost rising, but we manage it somehow.
What matters is how you take the challenges and then use whatever skills that you have, use the resources, and then follow through with it. So those are the challenges you as a very young entrepreneur face. Now, since you brought up the topic of digital marketing and technology into it, now I know RKR Industries is a labor-intensive business, but as a way forward for your future plans, do you have any sorts of an idea to move into a more capital intensive set, or how are you all planning to build in technology into it? The reason why I'm asking is, with this current context of the world, technology, AI, or everything digital is being used and at some point has to be used. What is RKR's plan in embedding technology into it?
Right. So as I said, we do collaborations and all of these sorts. We already have a collaboration and an ongoing partnership with the Sri Lanka Institute of Textile and Apparel. There, what we do is, once we produce a set of products for the order, we actually send them some samples first. So they conduct a regime of tests, like, for example, bending under high temperature, elongation, color fastness. So those are some couple of tests they do. So they use high technology to do this stuff. They give us reports, we give our feedback, they give their feedback as well. So those type of technology we already use, and also we have new machineries that come into the new market, automated machineries with small AI programming, digital CPUs. So we tend to procure some new machineries in the future.
From there and after. Yes. In a very brief sense, if I ask you, according to you and your father, what is your vision for RKR Industries for the future?
My straightforward vision is to provide quality webbing that no any other can easily produce. That's my straightforward vision.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Ryan. Of course, we understood and we got the perspective from a very young entrepreneur who is currently running a family business. So thank you so much for joining in on our program for today. So ladies and gentlemen, today we had a discussion with the Managing Director of RKR Industries, Mr. Ryan Mural, who is a budding entrepreneur who has a lot of responsibilities in hand, but told you the way that he as a youngster is tackling it as well. So we got a lot of advices from him as well. And we encourage all of you watching in to join in on such an entrepreneurship, join in your own venture, and of course, in the world. So with that, we have come to the end of today's episode of Business S. We are hoping to see you next week.